Welcome to the Everyday Millionaire Show with Ryan Greenberg and Nick Kalpis.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Millionaire Show. We're here, just Chase and I. Nick had a ceremony of some sort to go to today, so he will not be making it. We wanted to make sure we got another episode out. So today, you just have young Chase and myself.
Let's go.
I was in the Philippines for the last 2 weeks, so that's why we've been hadn't released anything. That's why I'm rocking this shirt. Carl, who's been my VA now for almost 3 years in the Philippines.
Dang, it's been that long?
I think it's almost 3 years now, and we've talked for hundreds of hours on Zooms and the phone, and he's been helping me run my life for the last 3 years, and I've never met him in person, and I got to meet him in person, and he hooked me up with this shirt. He hooked you and Nick up with some hats, and
look at these hats, man. These hats are sick. It's pronounced Davio.
I'm gonna butcher this. Davio. We'll have to ask Carl to punch in a pronunciation of it.
These
Davao.
are sick.
I think it's Davao.
Little PH.
And I should know this because he's talked about it. Yeah,
nice.
PH. So we got some hats. We got some Filipino snacks here. So I'm fasting right now because I gained 10 fucking pounds on vacation because all we did was eat the whole time. I gained 10 pounds. So I'm fasting right now, so I'm not going to eat this, but I want to show it. Thank you, Carl. He hooked us up with some chocolates, some different local chocolates, some chips. And it's funny because, like, a lot of these chips, everything tastes a little different there. Yeah. And it's because they don't have all the processed shit that we have here. It's all, like, natural stuff. That's why they're all skinny. I think I said at one point, I was like, there's not really many fat people here. And they eat a ton of rice. Wow. You saw the picture of Carl. He's completely ripped.
Yeah, it was crazy. But you were also sending these group chat pictures of dinner, and it was just like this potluck of rice and shrimp, and it was crazy.
I've never eaten so much rice, and I've never wondered why everybody's not fat there. And Carl, we would eat breakfast, and the man would have, because we had a big breakfast buffet at our resort, and he would have like 4 plates, pastries, like rice, all this stuff, and he just stays shredded.
That's crazy. And
I gained 10 pounds. And now I haven't eaten since last night because I'm going to carry around an extra 10 pounds at this race this weekend.
How far is that flight?
Dude, that's something we could talk about. It's a hell of a journey. So on the way there, we got stuck in D.C. because of a storm. Missed our flight from Atlanta. So we were flying from D.C. to Atlanta, Atlanta to South Korea to Manila, then Manila to Cebu. And we got stuck in D.C. because of a storm. So I missed my flight from Atlanta to South Korea. Got to Atlanta at like 2 a.m. Was like, I'm just going to get a Hilton because we booked Delta, put us on the next flight the next day in the morning. But it's really hard when you're booking the seats that we got, those first class like pods. There's only a couple of them on each plane. So it's not like they just have like a ton of extra seats, especially side by side. I wanted to be next to my wife for the big flight was like 16 hours or something like that. So that was a whole mess. We got to the airport hotel, the Hilton, and it was 2:00 in the morning. I went up to the lady and I was like, hey, can I get a room for the night? And you couldn't book it online because it was after midnight. So if you booked it it would be for that day, like right. Check in at 3 p.m. So I just went to the front desk and she's like, sir, there's not a hotel room in this town. Beyonce's in town and the WWE's in town. Like, you're not going to find a hotel room. So now I'm sitting at the airport. Now I don't have any of my luggage. All I have is a carry-on. My luggage was checked and it's still like being checked through to...
Yeah, and they don't give it to you.
They don't give it back to you. So I have one change of clothes that I was supposed to use in South Korea when I got there. So I just slept naked. Not to be too much information, just so I didn't ruin another set of clothes because I didn't have anything extra. And luckily I had my toiletry bag with me so I could still like brush my teeth and everything. But after they denied us at the first Hilton, we were sitting in the lobby of this Hilton for like 30 minutes just calling around. Finally found a room 30 minutes away from the airport. So I had to get in another Uber at like 2:30 in the morning. got into this hotel, stayed there from basically like 3 a.m. to like 6 a.m. 3 hours. I paid $500 for the hotel room for 3 hours. I probably could have paid an Uber XL to just drive me around for 3 hours and have me sleep in the back like a baby and paid less. But yeah, so we stayed in this hotel for 3 hours, got on the plane, flew, I think it was 16 hours was the first plane, and then another 4 hours from South Korea to Manila, and then another hour and a half from Manila to Cebu. It was a journey. And then from Cebu, after we left that island, we went to the wedding. That was a hour plane, and then a van ride, and then a boat ride, and then another van. It was wild. So it was to get there was two full days, like 48 hours of traveling, and then the way back was about 36 hours of traveling.
Jesus. Yeah, that's a lot of traveling, and it takes a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife was super thrilled when you guys were stranded for a while.
She was actually better than I was. I was like losing my mind. I was like, we're never going to fucking make it. We're wasting all this money. And then we had a tour booked, the whale sharks, like scuba diving with these whale sharks booked for that day that we arrived. So we literally arrived at the airport at 5 a.m. Filipino time. I'm exhausted. Obviously, we just travel for 2 days, and the van picks us up and we drive to go scuba diving. So we literally got off the plane, the van picked us up, and then we drove to go scuba diving with the whale shark. So I'm like on zero sleep. My timeline, it's 12 hours ahead. So my timeline's all messed up. And we just get in the car and we just did this excursion all day long. And I was so tired at the end of the day that in the van that we took to the tours, I forgot. I had all my luggage in there all day, but I took some stuff out of my luggage to like change midday because we like were in the water and stuff. I forgot my Ironman hat and my glasses, my Costas, my travel pillow and blanket, my GoPro accessory box. Luckily, I had my GoPro with me still because I would use it to scuba dive. But all the accessories, my hair trimmer was in that box. Lost that. Everything left in this van. Then I asked the driver to come back to my hotel and drop it off, and he was like, I live 4 hours away. So the next time I'm in downtown Cebu, like I'll come bring it. By then it was too late. So Carl, thank you, Carl, met him after I'd already left. Now Kimbo has all my shit, and he's got to carry it all back. But I still lost. He didn't find my Ironman hat and my glasses.
No.
So Ironman's gonna get me for another $50 this weekend. Nice. Another hat. And then I went to the mall, and everything in the Philippines is cheaper than here, except for nice sunglasses because they're like Oakleys, or they didn't have Costas. I ended up getting a pair of Oakleys, and they were like $300. So that was a big L, but. Overall, good trip. Carl was him and his wife were super cool. The whole trip was like a cool experience, just learning their culture. Their language it has a lot of Spanish to it because they were colonized by Spain. Mm-hmm. So every once in a while, I'd pick up on some words and I'd be like, "Is that what you just said?" And it's definitely different, but they're like. The numbers are the same, and there's definitely words that are the same, which is pretty cool. So definitely suggest if you're into traveling, that's a place to go on your list.
Yeah. What was like your top favorite part of the whole trip?
So scuba diving with the whale sharks was super cool because these creatures are just like, you can't fathom like how big these things are, and they're just like swimming above you, and it's like it shadows the sun. It's like insanely big. But I would say the best part was the last day before we left. We went island hopping. So we take this boat, and there's like 1,000. There's over like 1,000 islands in the Philippines. I don't know the exact number. Carl can put it up on the screen. We went from island to island, and each island had like a different theme. So we like the one had cliff jumping. It had like 4 or 5 levels of like diving boards, and we can clip cool. in. I did like a front flip off of the one. The one was, I think it was 15 meters high, so that's like 45 feet above the water, and you jump in and jump into the water from all the different levels. So that was super cool. And then we went like snorkeling with at this like reef, and the guys on the boat, the tour guides were like, throwing chum in the water, and like all these fish were just surrounding you. So I have videos of that. I'll try to upload some more videos. But that day was sick, and then the whale shark day, we did that, and we went swimming at this like big waterfall. That was pretty cool. But it's crazy because they don't have like their infrastructure there is not like it is here. So like the highways, like the maximum speed that I think we got up to in any vehicle was like 45 miles an hour maybe. Like there's no, like the traffic also is absolutely insane. There was a flood. So apparently they don't have very good drainage systems. And we went during the wet season. They had a big storm, and there was such bad flooding that we went to go 8 miles. It took us over 3 hours. Like it's worse than Manhattan traffic. The worst traffic I've ever experienced in my life. But other than that, it was really cool learning about the culture, and our money goes really far there. So like, you know, your average like dinner is going to be like, I don't know, $6 to $10 American for like a good meal.
God, I would love to go there and eat.
Yeah, that's why I gained so much weight. At massages are like, Carl ended up getting a masseuse to come to his room, and it was like $10 for an hour American.
Wow.
So that's cool.
What would you say the like your number one tip for someone traveling to the Philippines is?
Having the locals. So I had Carl for the first half of the trip with me and his wife, and then Laura, who's Kimbo's wife, is from there too. So having them like showing us and telling us about the culture and all that was really like, if I didn't have them, I feel like I wouldn't have learned or like experienced it the same way, because I would have just been a tourist doing the tourist things, where instead like they were like, most people speak English, but they were still like speaking their language to the cab drivers and we got like a lot. I think we got like the hookup on a lot of things because they were locals, and it wasn't just like us being tourists. So meeting somebody, if you know somebody there, having somebody to like kind of guide you around, and just really, the people there are super, super nice. They're like super grateful. Some of the people you see walking around the streets are clearly like, you know, not financially well off, but everybody's nice, and I felt pretty safe the whole time. Like there was not, there's a lot of security. Like they definitely have, like, when you walk in the mall, there's like metal detectors and stuff. So like they keep it fairly safe, for the amount of poverty that's there. I think there's, so I think my number one tip would be to either plan it through like a guide person there, or have somebody that comes with you. Like having Carl and Laura guide us through, and every day we were like learning more stuff about the culture. It was really cool.
Did they know like places to go and things to do in these places? Because like you said, it's really, there's tons of islands.
Yeah, so Cebu is actually where Laura's from. So the first day, Laura and Kimbo and me and Carl's wife and Paige, we did all the tours together. So Laura and Carl were talking, and they knew like where to go, what we were going to do. And then when we got to the second island, Boracay, that's like a tourist island. There's no cars. It's just little e-trikes, they call them. Like and we could put a picture of one. It's literally like a bike with a little box in the back that you sit in. Like the only people that have cars are the resorts that have the vans to drive people back and forth to the boat. But other than that, it's either little mopeds or these e-trikes. And like an e-trike, you call them, it's like kind of like an Uber. And basically to go anywhere in the island that we would go, like up and down the beach to the scuba diving place to the nightclubs to wherever, it was like $1 or $2 American.
Wow.
So it's like 150
And this
pesos.
is where you were staying?
From where I was staying, and the second island we went to, it was basically $2 American to get anywhere else on the island by e-trike. So it's cool. The Boracay was beautiful, like crystal clear water. People were super nice. Definitely a lot of like people trying to sell you stuff on the beach and stuff like that, which is typical of any kind of tourist trap. But overall, like, felt safe, met a lot of cool people. everybody speaks pretty good English, so you can get by with not knowing the local language. They have a couple of different dialects. I think it's 52 dialects in the Philippines of their language, Tagalog. So that was cool. But yeah, man, it was just a journey. If you're gonna like the people that I met out there, like friends that flew coach or economy, and I feel like people are gonna comment like I'm a rich cuck again, like they did on the last one. But I don't know that I could travel that far without having like the sleep pods on the plane, because it was so fucking long. Like to be on a plane for 16 hours straight and just be sitting up in a chair.
That would be tough.
It would be really tough.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that I would survive. Like my wife would probably squeeze my hand off or something. She hates flying, so.
Yeah. And when we were looking at the route on the screen, you can like pull up the route that you're taking. I thought we were gonna go like over California. We actually went up over Canada and over Alaska and like across the globe that way rather than going west. So it was a journey and a half. But I would say the next time if I was to go again, I would go to New York, and there's a straight flight from New York to Manila, and that JFK to Manila straight rather than going through South Korea. South Korea airport is probably the nicest airport in the world. The nicest airport I've ever been to. I don't want to say in the world because I haven't been to all the airports, but it had like massage parlor. I went and got a 2-hour massage. It had nap rooms. You can go in and, for free, just go in, take a nap. They had like, I don't know, little like pods where you can go in and sleep. They had a shower area where you could pay $5 and you get a shower, and it was super. They had Hermes, Gucci, Louis Vuitton stores. Like it was basically a shopping mall at the airport. But the layovers and all that kills your time. Like I think we spent total probably 10 hours in South Korea airport. So you're just like burning time. So if I had the chance to do it again, I would go to New York straight, or I would go to like LA because there's a direct flight from there and spend a day in California and then fly direct rather than like 2 full days of just getting off and on airplanes and waiting in airports is fucking brutal.
Yeah, that's miserable.
It was miserable.
And now you have to do something more miserable and drive a car 9 hours.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. As soon as I felt like I got on that time schedule, which is 12 hours difference, I left. So now I'm like back to trying to acclimate to East Coast time. So, and it's funny actually too, Carl is on American time too. So his time when we were hanging out during the day there on Philippine times, but he's used to staying up all night.
It was messing him up too.
And his baby is also used to being up at night and sleeping during the day. So it was messing with all of us. So there was days I was in the gym at like 3 a.m. because I just like couldn't sleep. And the hotel gym, luckily at the first place, was open 24 hours. And then I finally felt like I'm like, okay, I'm finally like adjusted to this time. And then, all right, it's time to leave. Now we got to adjust back. And now tomorrow, I was here for 24 hours. Now we leave and drive to Maine to race. So you might have a chance to beat me because I don't know how much sleep I'll be getting.
We'll see. I think it might play out good for you. You said you've been waking up at like 2 or 3, and then we're going to have to wake up probably at like 2:30 because transition opens at like 4:15, and we have an hour drive from Portland to Augusta.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're definitely probably going to have to wake up at like, at least 2:45.
Yeah, that might actually work out in my favor.
Yeah, so I probably didn't gain an advantage there besides all your travel time.
Well, you finally got a new bike.
Yeah, I did. So now we're equals on that. We'll see.
The mechanics part of it is equal.
Yeah.
We'll see about your little legs. But I'm excited for this race. Then it's essentially dialing in for Ironman Maryland for the full.
Yeah, and that's when I'm just sitting here thinking about is like, how in the hell are we going to finish that? So, I mean, we have some time. This is, week 8 or week 10 or something like that of like our 16-week adventure when we started. Yeah,
the idea of doing a race like that for 12 hours is definitely getting to me mentally already. But I'm excited to break myself a little bit and see what we can do. That one to me is like survival. I've been talking to my coach about it. Like I'm signed up for. I'm not officially actually. I have it in all queued up, and I'm signing up for Lake Placid next year. So are you? The full Lake Placid. It's told to me to be one of the best races in the world, the best Ironman races. So we're gonna.
Wait, first of all, can we just announce that they say that about every Ironman event? They say Chattanooga was the best. The Ironman Maryland is the best swim.
Yeah, so they're all the best.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Lake Placid's the best of the best. No, so the first one is just survival, and I want to figure out nutrition and like how to keep my muscles going for 12 hours. I'm not necessarily worried about anything except for the run. A full marathon, I've never even, and probably never will, well, up until that day, not run a full marathon. So I'm not going to really know what it's like to run for 4 hours after biking for 6 hours and swimming for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
That's the biggest part. Well, that and the mental, like the mental just capacity of training and doing physical load for 12 hours just mind boggles me. Like we did it the other day. Our training, we didn't do 12 hours. We did 6-7 hours of training. And at that point I was like, dude, I've had enough. Like I cannot go, like I can keep going on, but mentally I was just tapped out. I was just like, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, that's the whole game. I think once you're in the shape, like the physical shape, it's all a mental game. And I think that's what Ironman really is. If you notice, a lot of people that do this stuff are either like ex-drug addicts or like superior athletes, like in some way, like they're missing that part of their life. Like they went from being like a college athlete or a drug addict, and then they needed something to challenge themselves and like to be like mentally challenged, essentially physically and mentally challenged. And this is like the ultimate mental and physical battle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The history of it is it started in Hawaii with a bunch of Navy SEALs that all argued about who was a better athlete, a cyclist, a swimmer, or a runner. And they said, well, fuck it, let's do all three. And they just did these distances, and it just became a thing. I think it was like 1970 something they started it. And the first race was like 12 people, and 7 of them finished. And now there's like races every weekend all over the world, and thousands of people do them. And we're some of those idiots that do it.
Yeah, I was just talking to the bike fitter about that. He said that the triathlon sport as an industry has kind of taken a hit, but I don't really see that. I mean, I know it's expensive, like even entry level to get in, like, you know, bikes used to cost a couple $1,000s. You can still get a used bike for a couple $1,000s like I did, but now you're buying bikes that are $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Like it really just depends on how crazy you want to get.
Yeah. If you want to compete at a high level, it's an expensive sport. But you can also do it on a budget. The races are expensive, but dude, I don't know how he said that, because all of them sell out. Like Maine's sold out, Lake Placid sold out, Maryland sold out. I mean, these are 3,000 participant races, and they're selling out. So I don't know how you've just bought a $10,000+ bike. I just bought a $10,000+ bike. How is it hurting?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, he said attendance was down, but like I said, I didn't see it. It seems like to me they're all always packed.
Yeah, I think
tons of people.
I think if anything, it's getting more popular. Like the whole like fitness thing is becoming.
Well, the triathlon as a sport and being a hybrid athlete is definitely becoming more popular. And like, you know, you got Nick Bear pushing it, all these like really crazy like bodybuilders that were bodybuilders, and then they were like, hey, I want to go be an athlete too, and now they're kind of doing that hybrid mix.
Yeah, have you seen Nick Bear is doing a new series because he's training for Ironman Arizona,
I think. Yeah,
he's gotten skinny as heck.
Really?
Yeah, if you look at him, like look at his last video, he used to be like yoked, like big muscles, and he's thinned out like a bunch.
Right.
So I think he's probably trying to, like, I'm not eating right now, so I could drop a couple pounds because I don't want to carry it around for the next 6 hours during the race. But I think the fitness world in general is on the rise, if anything, just like across the board. More people are signing up for marathons, half marathons, 5Ks, you know. I think that's a good thing. I mean, was it you that were like you pointed out, like there's like a music festival for like
Yeah, out in Texas, there's a oh man, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a um coffee and fitness, coffee and plunge or something.
Yeah, so there's like no alcohol.
Yeah,
it's just like coffee and it's cold plunges.
It's a day rave.
Yeah, daytime rave. So I think I think that whole world, I think there's a lot of people looking to, you know, change their lives. I think people here in America have gotten so fat and like unhealthy that, and I think it's mostly people in their like late 20s to early 30s, all like doing it, starting, you know, to get out of the party scene and get into the fitness scene. So I don't know. I think that guy's wrong about the industry hurting. I think the fitness industry right now is booming, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, these races are, like I said, they're always packed, and we keep signing up for them. So
yeah, they got our money.
Something's working.
But yeah, so wrap the Philippines up. That trip was awesome. Shout out to Carl for giving me all the stuff, and us. And he thought about you and Nick too. And the Ironman race this weekend, we'll report back on that. Business right now, I don't even know what to say. The freaking market is so unpredictable. I'm not buying really much real estate right now, but the houses are still selling. I think the prices have kind of flattened out. What are you seeing?
Oh man, I've been super slammed with listings, more retail stuff, and like you said, you stopped buying and pulled back, so that means I kind of stopped buying as well, and kind of just doing more retail. I think we're both trying to invest more back into our business right now. I mean, I would still love to buy. I'm still on the more aggressive take. I think you're the more conservative one of the two of us.
Yeah, if the deal makes sense, and depending on what my tax implications are this year, we're going to buy some more stuff. But I'm just being real picky about what we buy.
I think if we're being honest, it depends on the area and the price point of the house. I have one investor right now. She had another agent. They started at like, I think it was 580 they had it listed at. And it's a house in Glen Burnie. So 580, that's a high price point already in Glen Burnie, because you could go to, you know, Severna Park, Arnold, anywhere else and get a 580 house and be in good school districts. So that was already a high price point. I told her I wouldn't take the list unless it was at 540, because I thought, you know, even below that is probably where it would sell. We're at like 515 now. So she's like really getting hit hard on this, carrying hard money. She gutted the whole house. Like, but on the flip side of that, I just sold a listing that was a small rancher, 700 square foot, the one you quoted. And we sold it for 30K over, had 5 offers, 13 showings the first day, no inspections, 10K appraisal waiver, closing tomorrow.
Yeah. It's just all over the place. And we're doing we're buying some lots right now and building some new constructions. And I think those are selling a little bit easier, but the market's just all over the place. I think we need to see the interest rates come down a little bit, which I'm hoping over the next year we start seeing them tick down. And then I think the buyers are out there somewhere, but I'm just being real picky. I mean, we did a couple flips this year, and some went well, some broke even. So, you know, like I just, like you said, I'm making a lot of money in the business, and I really want to focus on investing in that, putting a lot of money into marketing, into getting systems dialed in. We just hired an HR company they're called Growth Solutions. They've helped a number of businesses scale. So they're helping us get to a point where we can hit the next level. And that's another thing. Like if you have a business that you feel like, and Jet, who shout out to Dreamers Event Rentals. Jet is one of my coaching clients, and I'm helping him try to break the ceiling. Like he's hit the ceiling in sales and systems. If you feel like you've hit that ceiling in your business, you need to consult with somebody. Like he's consulting with me, and I'm doing, you know, more business than him, and I'm consulting with somebody else, and they've built businesses bigger than mine. So don't ever think that you're like too good to be coached, because I coach people and I'm currently getting coached. So that I think investing in yourself, like we're paying a lot of money every month to these HR growth specialists just to know what the companies that we aspire to be. Like if I'm trying to get to 20 million in sales, they know they've helped build those companies that are similar to mine that are at 20 million in sales. And if I'm going to double my revenue, what does that look like without breaking the systems? Because that's what's happened multiple times, where we hit these ceilings and then the systems break and then you have to rebuild. And it happens to everybody. I'm sure, it happened to you. That's why you had to get a VA. You had to start organizing and putting stuff together.
Yeah.
You can only do so much by yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say. Coming back to your like coaching point, is that like at the end of the day, hiring a coach, it doesn't just help you get to the next level, but it helps you get there twice as fast because they've already been there. Right. And I've been preaching that since, the beginning of time. And I've never really paid for mentorships. I've been like off and on. You were more of a coach to me that was kind of more like a mentor. So like in my way, that's how I see it.
And you did it smart. You basically got it for free.
Yeah, you just gotta like weasel your way in there.
But that's a real thing. I mean, you surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do, and like the saying, you are the net, your net worth is the 5 people, the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. When I was younger and I was your age, I was doing the same thing. I was attaching myself to people that were doing things that I wanted to do, or at places where I wanted to be, and you learn from them. And whether you're paying for that or you're paying through like what I was doing, I was driving people's boats and like learning how these people got so rich that they can hire me as a captain to drive their boat around. You came to one of my events and asked me, can you just roll around with me for a couple of weeks, and you didn't ask for a paycheck. I was telling that to Jet the other day. I was like, Chase never asked for a paycheck. He just asked to come learn, and you made a couple $100,000.
Yeah, 10x my net worth. Yeah, it was,
and never asked for a paycheck. So
well, and the thing was, like, through all of that, I think like I had seen the coaching stuff, and I've always been big on like the people you hang around. Here I am, 27. I don't hang out with many 27-year-olds because many 27-year-olds are not where I want to be at.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like the guys like you that are in their like 32, 34, like building businesses, like that's where I want to be at. So why would I hang out with somebody that's, my age or younger? Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. And like, I don't have to always be around people that are scaling and doing business. But at the end of the day, like if I want to be better, I'm going to surround myself with those people where I want to be at.
Yeah. It's totally, about who you're around. And I feel it even when I'm like around some old friends. Every once in a while you get around some people and you're like, there's a reason that we're not like tight anymore. And then you get around the people that are all thinking the same, talking. Like our group of friends, everybody's always like scheming in some way, like how can we turn this into a business? And those are the people that drive you to like get to that next level. So that, and not only in business and money, like physically too. Like without the group of friends that we have that all train together, there's no fucking way in hell I'd be training for 20 hours a week doing this Ironman stuff.
Even like, so I went to Duck 1 week, and then when I got back, you left. And so like 2 weeks I was training by myself, and for the most part, I'd run with Sean and ran with Benji, but those days when you're by yourself, oh boy, that shit is tough.
Yeah, that was me in the Philippines. I was getting like 2-hour days in, and I'm just sitting there on the treadmill for an hour, just running. And it's like you're listening to music, you're listening to a podcast or whatever. But I'm like, God, this is terrible. So having the group of friends, both to push you mentally, physically, super super important. Just get in front of people that you aspire to be like, and your life will change for the better. I think that's definitely something that a lot of people think that they're stuck with the people that they have around them right now, but you can go branch out, go to these, we have shameless plug, we have an event. 2 events next week. Fucking Chase decided to plan a second event the day after our July 31st podcast event. 6 to 9, Deerco Road, Timonium. Look it up on Facebook. And then Friday at the new development that we just built, 1428 Hull Street.
Yep.
That
5 to 9, baby.
5 to 9, throwing a house party at a house we just built.
Back to back.
Thanks for all the sponsors for those events. We couldn't do it without it. These events are, you said it to me in a text, these events are a pain to plan. They're expensive. There's a lot of moving parts. You got to figure out how many people are coming, how much food you need, how much alcohol you need, how many, it's a
marketing
lot
behind it too. Just the marketing alone is a full-time job. Like I'm up till 10:30, 11 o'clock last night making banners for the sponsors and, marketing and pushing this event out. And it's like, man, dude, like doing this in 2 weeks, that's a tough job.
Yeah. Luckily with the podcast events, I've kind of like come into like a rhythm, but this one's now at a different location. So there's, logistics that had to be changed and people you have to deal with and order food. But shout out to all the people that have helped. Like we have Mike Griffith, who's been on the podcast a couple times. He represents Albers and Associates law firm and Mid-Atlantic Title. They're hosting and sponsoring. Brian Valdivia with Beltway Lending is a big sponsor. That's one of our platinum sponsors. And they've all helped not only financially, but by pushing out the event and making videos without even us asking, marketing it online. So I'm hoping this next event is a big one.
Why do you, let me ask you this, Ryan, because you guys have been recording this podcast for 4+ years, right? Why did you start the event and why do you continue to do the event? Like, why do we continue to do the events? Because, like, again, we don't make any money.
Yeah, we definitely don't make any money.
And we're doing these events. We're bringing everybody together. So
I shouldn't say that we don't make money because it's hard. And this is one of the reasons that we've just got this new CRM and all that for the construction company. I can't quantify how much money I've made through the events because almost every single event a client has come out of or a connection has come out of. So like the events, this podcast, it costs money. Like we pay Eric several $100s a month. We pay for the platforms. I pay Carl to edit the podcast. We have all this equipment. We have to buy new mic stands. This shit's breaking. We had to buy the table that came in too small. We have this space in the office. It nets negative amount of money. And hopefully soon we get, full-time sponsors. Now we're getting 2 million clicks and views a month on average between the platforms. But it's really about the connections. And I truly believe that like there are people that listen. I know this for a fact because they've hit me up and they'd be like, I got inspired by this story that this person told or you told, or when you talked to Chase about this house that you lost money, I related to that. And then that person was like, oh, hey, I also just got this house. Can you sell it or can you fix it or whatever? So the events, we could sit here and talk in front of cameras all day, but bringing people together, I think is just a powerful and a good thing to do for the community. And I think if you ask a lot of people in the real estate investment community, if they know who you are, they know who I am, or they know who Nick is, most people know who we are. And a big part of that is because of the podcast and because of the events. And the podcast in general, like, I have direct competition that are competitors of mine that have been on the podcast before, multiple. And I love that. Like, I think that that's like a cool way to talk to other people doing the same thing. Even if they're competitors, we get to learn from them. Sure, maybe somebody listens to whoever I have on that owns a property management company and they might use them instead of me. But I think the value of like bringing that person together and masterminding and putting it out there for all these people to listen to is more valuable to me than the money.
Yeah, the collaboration, the learning. I mean, for me, like I had gotten stationed here back in 2020 and I hadn't like put myself out there as far as like going to events. I was just did the retail thing as a agent. So like when I went to your event, it was because of Marcus, and he told me to, come to the event and come out. And then I ended up winning a TV, and then I was like, all right, this guy's doing what I want to do. And that's how you get in with people. And so like if you're listening to this and you're in the local area, you're new, thinking about getting into investing, or you're just somebody that is a hustler, like you should come out to the event, network with the people. You don't even have to really talk to that many people. Just talk to a couple of people, and you'll find your way, again, you'll go to the next event and you'll see those same people, and then it's like, hey, now you're building your little small network.
Yeah, it's cool too. Like, and the events keep growing, and I have a list of the people who, get the tickets. They're all free. Everything's free, but I keep a Eventbrite list of all the people, so I know how much food we need to order and so on and so forth. And every event I look at all the names, and I see different names every time. So that's cool that it's like definitely growing and expanding. This one, we have well over 100 people that are RSVP'd. And it's free. It's not like a sales or gimmicky thing. A lot of these events you go to, I feel like they sit you down, they try to sell you something like a fucking timeshare, you kind of like scam, where this is literally just a 3-hour happy hour. We provide drinks, food, and I talk for less than 5 minutes on the mic, and all I'm doing is really thanking the sponsors and giving stuff away. I'm not like sitting there telling everybody to use my business or whatever. So yeah, I think it's a way that I feel like you need to give back too. It feels good to like host these events and do these things and educate people. I was a teacher for 9 years, so like that, I think this like scratches that itch of giving back and helping people, and it's so rewarding every time like Jet or somebody else that I've helped, even just on a phone call or a consultation, says like, "Hey, dude, I did what you said, and it did this for me," or this happened. And that's cool. Like, you were working a full-time job for the government, and then within a year we're able to quit your job, make more money than you would have ever made for the government, and you didn't really have to spend all that much time. You just spend all that much money. You put in the time and the effort, and it paid off. And I think that's you're my protege.
I'm the protege of the podcast events. Yeah. So, that's why I kind of asked that question, is because to me, it means a little bit more, because like I said, I was a newbie. I didn't know what to do. And I knew what to do, but I just didn't take action. And like, I finally got around people that were taking action. But again, like you said, it's not anything where you have to come pay, sit down, get taught a lesson or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with that, if someone's providing real value, you know what I mean? So
I hate those events though, that like that's just like a rich dude up there that's talking about how they got rich, and how like like, I don't want to hate on like the Andy Elliott's of the world, but like it's just him yelling at people and saying, "I'm fucking rich and ripped, and if you don't do all these things, you'll never be like me." That's kind of like the vibe that I get from a lot of these people. And, some people need a different perspective. Some people just need to have a simple conversation with somebody over, a beer or something at these events to really change their trajectory. They don't need somebody sitting up there lecturing them or yelling at them. And I think the events, I would love to know, I think it's impossible to know or figure out, but like how much business has been conducted at all, like the entirety of our quarterly events we do 4 a year, like how many millions of dollars has traded hands over these events. Like Justin sold houses, like he's out there selling houses and like he's like, "You got a house to sell?" He's like, "Hang on one second." He walks over here and he's selling it to somebody. So it would be impossible to figure out, but I would confidently say there has been millions of dollars transacted from the events, like 100% without any uncertainty. So that's why we do it. That's why we do the podcast. The podcast has been a slow and steady grind for a long time. We brought you on as a host 6 months ago or something like that, and it's been going really well now. People are listening. We're getting a lot of views. we made $92 off of Facebook last month.
Let's go. You getting made fun of, right?
90. Yeah. And that is funny. So for everybody out there, please roast me in the comments because it seems like every time that one of my videos goes viral, it's always of me getting roasted. It's never of fucking Chase or Nick saying something stupid. It's always me saying something stupid or sounding like an asshole. And then it gets 2 million views in a day, and all these people are just making fun of me in the comments. And I eventually stopped reading the comments, but some of them are actually hysterical. And that's what makes us the most money. All the videos that go viral because of the people that are hating on me in the comments. And sometimes I'll sit in bed and scroll through them and be like, wow, this is a good one. Like when the guy that said I bought my boat on Temu or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we've gotten over the course of the last 6 months, we've gained over 20,000 subscribers between Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So there are people that are listening and watching. And yeah, it's been, I mean, in the beginning we were doing it, and if we got like 7 watches or listens on a podcast, we're like, sick. Yeah. 7 people heard us. Now we're like 2 million a month on just Facebook alone has been doing over 2 million a month, which is cool.
Yeah, it is super cool. I mean, and shout out to Eric because he's been grinding, and Carl, both of them been grinding and helping us get out all these clips and different videos and short forms, and I think that's truly helped a lot.
Yeah, it's a full-time, like it's a full-time job to get this content. Like we have to go pack the van and drive to Maine in a couple hours, but I was like, dude, we have to do a podcast tonight because if we don't upload something and have these clips for next week, our viewers going to go down and we're not going to be in that algorithm and that, and the social media
all
game.
About consistency.
Yeah. If you're not posting every week, every day, you're out of the algorithm and that's it.
Yeah. So let me pick your brain real quick. Talking about social media, was going back and forth with Sean yesterday. I was like, dude, and this is free game for you guys right here. Coach Ryan, I'm gonna give you free game right now. So I'm talking to Sean the other day and I'm like, adding up all my business expenses, right? And this is going to sound like pennies to you, little smeckles. It's $4,000 a month, right? So I'm paying $1,500 for a VA. I'm paying $1,000 a month for video and content, 12 pieces of content. And then I have like a slew of different subscriptions, whether that's MLS dues, CRMs, whatever, right? So I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm spending. Like, this is a lot of money. Like, I feel like I need to cut back a little bit. And I don't know if I just like started being like, oh, hey, like, let's do this, let's do that, and started spending a slew of money. However, the $1,000 a month towards video to me feels like that's my prospecting, that's my marketing, and that's kind of where my marketing budget's going. So I was like, I don't really know where to cut back, or if I should cut back, or if I should keep going. And just like $4,000 a month is nothing to bat an eye at. Like, people could live off of that.
Yeah, but you really have to look at it as like, what's your projected return on investment? Like, do you believe, like, I truly believe video is the future, the short clips that you make. Like, I'm pissed that you stopped doing the Ironman videos because I think that was a thing that would have taken off. Like, I still myself, after doing multiple Ironman races, watch other people's journey. So I don't think that you should cut back on that at all. I think if anything, you should lean more into the video. You've already gotten traction in social media in other ways, dancing on TikTok like a fool when you were younger. But the short answer is like, you need to track what you're making and how you're making it. And I'm just now starting to do this better than before, where with Builder Trend and tracking where the leads are coming from. And $4,000 a month, even if you're making only $6,000 a month and you're in the positive, it's really based on what you need to live. And everybody has a different threshold, right? Like, and the hard part is it's that lifestyle creep. That's the hard part. Like if I was making the money that I'm making now and living the lifestyle I lived 10 years ago, I would have so much more money. The lifestyle creep is hard. You know, when you're making more money, you tend to spend more money. So I would say like that's going to be the thing that I think you got to focus on the most, is like for a certain amount of time, instead of thinking about cutting back, because you can only save so much. You can make an unlimited amount. I think you got to just realize, okay, this is how much I need to live. And like if you're saying like, okay, $4,000 a month is what I'm using to run my business, and I'm making $10,000 a month, I'm $6,000 a month in the positive, and you need only $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month to live, then I would say take whatever you can live off minimally and invest the rest into the business and start building it that way. And I think that a lot of people are just scared to invest in themselves, where the way that I did it, I just jumped in the deep end. I'm like on that ready, fire, aim, or aim, fire, aim, ready kind of thing. Like I just like started doing these things, and then they scaled, and then you just have no choice but to like feed the machine. Like you got to keep feeding the machine. And now we have so much overhead. Yeah, I'm spending well over $500,000 a month on overhead, just between materials, labor, you know, like you said, subscriptions, softwares, whatever. I mean, it's between $500,000 and $700,000 a month that we pay out. So like that happened over time. But if I don't, you can't stop it, or you're just like, you got to sell it. And like, I have to keep grinding now. Like it's just at a different scale, where if like I don't get the next job, I still have to pay that money. So I think you have to really like say, this is what I'm all in, I'm going to do this. And whether it's $1,000 a month that you're going to start spending or $500,000 a month, you just have to know, okay, this is how much I need to live. I need to pay my mortgage. I need to pay my whatever, my car, my gas, my food, for my baby, whatever it is, you know. You figure out that number, and everybody has a different goal. I think that's another thing too. Like you have to set goals. Like not everybody wants to live the way that I live. Like I live in a constant state of stress all the time. I will say though, the last 2 weeks, 10 days, I was on vacation in Asia, and I didn't have access to call. Like nobody could call me. And I came back today, and I drove around with Chauncey for a little while. Shout out to Chauncey for really stepping up while I was gone. And Adam, who took both my phone numbers for 2 weeks almost. And my whole business didn't go on fire. Like I came home, and Chauncey drove me around this morning, and we went and saw projects that he started and finished while I was away. And he texted, you know, I was in contact with everybody via text, but I wasn't answering them until like the next day, because it was like, if it's 9 a.m. here, it's 9 p.m. there. So my 2-week test, I think we talked about this on the last podcast, it went fairly well. Like people stepped up and did their job, and sure, there were problems. Jocelyn being out on maternity right now, I had some stuff that I had to deal with while in the Philippines. It's funny, like even my Filipino assistant was with me he was on vacation too. So like person who handles my emails, and, you know, Carl, who helps out a lot with a lot of things, and Clara was on her American time. So that 2-week test, I think is a really good thing to do when you have a business that's like it's questionable whether you work for the business or you're working on the business. Because I still work for my business very much, like still very much involved working. And everybody has the goal to just be like the CEO. But I left for 2 weeks, and the stuff didn't completely go on fire. So I think that was a good test. And I suggest anybody that has a business, test it maybe even for just a week. See, like, can I, and I think it's a question you could just ask yourself, like, could you leave for a week with all the things you have and everything be okay? Because I didn't think it would go as well as it did. I think what I also did well was on the front end using AI. I was talking to my chat GPT app for the whole week leading up to me leaving. I was talking to it every day, telling it who I was talking to, what projects we were doing, where we were at with the different projects. So it was like learning. And then at the end of the week, right before I left, I was like, summarize all of the things that I've been telling you, that where we're at in projects and communication and this and that, and give me like a basic outline. And I outlined every project, where we were at, what materials needed to be ordered, what was ordered, who to contact. If this happens, contact this person. If this happens, contact this person. And all of the people here got that it and they followed those instructions. And it took me a lot of time on the front end to set that up, but the people that followed it went fairly well. So
yeah, that was a big test. To kind of like wrap up and recap what you were saying is like knowing your expenses is huge on your lifestyle side. Minimize lifestyle creep and work a little bit harder. Make more money. But again, it is hard too when you are hanging out with more successful people and they're on a different lifestyle than you, and you know, like that.
Yep.
It makes it a little difficult when they buy a $10,000 bike and then tell you need to buy a $10,000 bike.
It's motivation, just like the sign in the bathroom here at the office.
Yeah,
it's motivation. But no, it's very hard, and I think it's a serious thing. Like you surround yourself with more successful people, you're going to see them spend more money on things, and you have to have the self-discipline and the control over your own wants and say, no, I'm not there yet. Right. Like if I was 2 years ago, I wouldn't have a race car. Like I wouldn't have bought a BMW and joined that race car club that I'm in. If this was 2 years ago, I did have a boat 2 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago, I wouldn't have bought a boat. Now I can afford a boat comfortably. But if that was going to stress out like my life with my wife and being able to pay for my expenses, then you can't do it. You have to really have some self-control. And I think it's hard when you start making some money to not spend it on the fun stuff and really invest. Like I spent 7 years running this business, Tyler and I, and every day was where we see all this money coming in and going out and we feel broke. Like we felt broke for 7 years. And then it grew to a point where at one point we were like, okay, now we can, I don't want to say fuck off, but now we can have a little bit of fun. We can go on these vacations. We can fly first class. We can do we're not necessarily buying private jets, but we are doing the things that we want to do, and it's not affecting my baseline life that I need to pay for. And, so it's hard. And I think I've done it with, I've hung out with people and still do hang out with people that have a lot more money than I do. And I see what they're doing, and then I'm trying to be like them, and then I'm finding myself spending more money. Like I probably shouldn't have bought a race car. Like that was a stupid thing, but it's something that I did, and I'm having fun doing it. So it is what it is. But I think everybody's got to figure out their threshold, their risk tolerance. Like I don't have kids yet. I don't really have a lot of like necessary expenses in my life. So I'm able to, have a little bit of fun, but I think that's, yeah.
There's a hard line to find, but there is a balance in there, and you got to have a little bit of fun, because if you don't reward yourself, like you do get burnt out. And that's a big thing. And I know you've experienced it. I've experienced it before. So like, that's one thing, but kind of like going back to, what I was asking about that, I was like, that is one thing that I do believe, like, so with social media is like, I do want to double down. And that's something I told myself this year, like I'm going to go hard at. And I kept saying last year I was going to start social media, and I didn't get back on my grind. And finally this year I'm spending the $1,000 a month to have my videographer follow me around and, you know, come up with content ideas, and we're strategizing. And she was just with me today, and I'm going to shoot, you know, content at with Mike Donovan at Whole Street, and coming out with all this content. I'm doing this new $1 million house series where I'm going and touring. Did you see any of this?
So yeah.
Dude, like some of these houses are crazy. Like I don't even need to talk over them. Like they're just that nice. And it's cool, dude. I love, like, me and you are very similar, and I think a lot of the people we hang out with are very similar too. Like we'll go to a different state and we're like driving past and we're like, yo, look at that house. Like that house is sick. And we just like the architecture. We like houses, real estate in general. So it's going to be super cool. I'm going to be posting that stuff just on TikTok, and then doing more like hyper local stuff on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So
yeah, I think people just like seeing the story and like the real life, like the IR, what is it called? IR,
the IRL, yeah,
IRL, like
boomer.
like I like that content. Like I like watching YouTube videos of people that are doing the stuff that I'm doing, even if it's at a lower level or a higher level than me. Like I just like seeing it. And I think the content that you put out there is like, I've said it a million times, like your living resume, and it gets people to know you, to connect with you. And I truly believe that the online world, the social media world is, and a lot of people hate on it, but it is the future. Like all of our kids, you know, the people that are growing up. I mean, you met your wife on TikTok. Like that generation, especially the generation coming up, are living on their phones online. All they're doing is scrolling content. If you're a face that's familiar, I mean, look at the Pauls, Logan and Jake Paul. Like they started on Vine, and they started making 8-second videos or whatever Vine was, and now they're buying $40 million ranches and traveling the world in private jets. Like that all started because of social media. So all the people that hate on the videos that we post and whatever, make fun of us for posting this stuff, they're just haters. And you know, I think you got to, especially you, because you already had traction and know what you could do, like what your potential could be, just in a different like realm, instead of dancing for little girls that want.
Yeah, don't say it like that on the podcast, dude.
Well, that's what you were doing. You were dancing for young girls. And not that you're, you know, like that's what TikTok was. You were doing it and you did it and you were successful at it. Now you're just changing your tracks to dancing for little boys.
Yeah, something like that. But it'll be in houses, just house tours, and there's no dancing anymore. But yeah, it's the other thing is like you could get paid to advertise yourself, right? And like I think that's the coolest part. But what you said is the living resume and the being able to connect with people, like, know and trust you. Like they follow you, they start watching your stuff, and then they're like, oh, I like this guy. Something resonates, or something doesn't, and they don't follow you, right? Like, yeah. And then you're just not meant to kind of be in their network or whatever.
Yeah, I think you just put the stuff out in the world, and if the people that want to be around you or want to hear about what you're doing, they're going to listen, and the people that aren't. And I think a lot of it just getting past the I'm okay being in front of a camera and putting myself out there. You know, it's just like the vulnerability of putting myself out there. Like I'm not just telling success stories. Like we talked about how I lost $90,000+ on a flip, and I hope somebody learns that from that lesson, you know. And I don't want to sit here and just be a guru. We want to talk about our real life. Like, you know, we flipped a house recently that basically broke even. If not, I haven't even figured out the numbers. We might have lost a couple $1,000, and we just sat there for 6 months with interest payments. And like it's not all like rainbows and butterflies. And I think people like telling people that and showing people the way, because everybody can be on social media and say how successful they are.
Right.
It's like,
or you could fake it.
Right? The people that are renting Lamborghinis, yeah, whatever.
That's not the type of content I want to put out. So
no.
It's all like, you know, behind the scenes. That's the kind of content that I've transitioned to, is like, yo, let's talk real life, the things that have happened. But
yeah, so before we wrap up, because we do need to wrap up and go pack this van, I do want to shout out all of the sponsors for this next event. and we can clip this and hopefully put this out there for everybody. So we have All Masters Inc. electrician. They have been a long time electrician for us. They also have All Masters apparel, which is both of them have been sponsors. Shore United Bank, Diligent Window. The fact that the bank is sponsoring us is cool. Like my bank, our bank, they're sponsoring. Shout out to Eric for that. Diligent Window Supply, Seth and Andrew, thank you to them. Intrepid Insurance, they just hit us up on Facebook and asked to be a sponsor. Never met the guy, Paul Massini, or I think his name is. So shout out to him. Shameless P Home Remodeling sponsor. Shameless Kinzer Group of 5 Realty sponsor.
There it is.
Albers and Associates and Mid-Atlantic Title, both owned by Ross Albers. They have been awesome to us, sending us to suites and games and all over the place. Beltway Lending, Brian Valdivia. Shout out to Brian for not only sponsoring all the events, but also just like posting about them. All his employees are posting. He's sending out mass emails about it. So shout out to Brian. He's always been an awesome dude.
Yeah. And they're another company that's really good with social media too.
Yeah, and they do funny shit.
I love it.
They do funny shit, which is awesome. Old Republic Title, they are with Mid-Atlantic Title in some way. I think they're the underwriters. Perry with Toss It. Studio A Staging has always been a sponsor, longtime sponsor. Current Cabinetry, Unlimited Plumbing, who's just our plumbing company that we've been using for almost 10 years now. I think that's, and also to Jet with Dreamers Event Rentals. He's hooking up some tables and stuff for us at our next event. So all these people, thank you for everybody that, puts the money up for us to host these events, because I mean, they cost thousands and thousands of dollars, to host, and we appreciate everybody. And come to the next event. Hopefully we can get this out before it's July 31st. Let's say the actual location.
While you're looking that up, I'm gonna go ahead and plug the Whole Street event.
Yeah.
Super awesome launch party we have coming. The Kinzer Group is putting this together. It's not just me, it's my team. So shout out to Sean, Cairo, a couple other people that are helping put this together. And Kristen, my wife, she's been a big help too. But it's Ryan's newest development, him and Tyler, and then Troy and Lance, who are the other developers. You guys are the builders. Dude, multi-million dollars in developments. They already pre-sold once. One closed already. It was one of the highest sold houses in Locust Point in like 3 or 4 years. So the Whole Street house that will be the model house that'll be for sale. Come through with the party. I'm gonna have small bites, a bartender there because we're classy, Ryan. We're gonna have a rooftop DJ. We're gonna make it a
keg stands,
maybe
athletic brewing keg stands.
Yeah, athletic brewing keg stands for sure. And then you'll be able to tour the house if you're an investor. The reason I really wanted to push this on here is because if you're an investor, you get to come through, not only see the house that's complete, but you'll get to walk to the back house on Halbert and see that one that's still in progress, and kind of get to feel what that development looks like. But then they can ask the builders questions, then they can ask the developers questions. Like, they can ask me questions. Like, if you're an agent, come through and ask me how I built a relationship with builders and how the process looks, right? Like, all of these things are really cool, really important, and they're really big projects. So
yeah, that quick like story, that was an old mechanic shop that spanned 2 blocks, and Tyler, I can't take credit for this. He had the idea of subdividing it and building 4 townhomes, and he did it, and it was a huge undertaking, millions and millions of dollars put up. But yeah, so come to that event, come see it. I'm happy to share the stories. Honestly, you'd probably have better off talking to Tyler when we're there, because he did most of the heavy lifting there. I just yelled at him every time that we were behind on payments with the bank. So the podcast event is Thursday, July 31st at 9515 Deerco Road, Lutherville, Timonium. That is free food, open bar. We're doing giveaways. Albers and Associates and Mid-Atlantic Title are giving away some of the sweet tickets for the Capitals game, the Ravens game tickets. Yep. So that'll be cool. And then the Hull Street event at 1428 Hull Street in Locust Point. That's Baltimore 21230.
I'm not sure on zips.
Yeah. Well, I think it's 21230. But Hull Street, right in Locust Point. Come see what we did. The houses that Chase is selling that we built.
We'll also have some raffles, and two Albers and Associates did give us 2 tickets to the Ravens game as well to raffle off. So
they just keep on giving. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you for listening.